Hello everyone. Look, I had did a live earlier in the group and I posted, but for some reason it's not showing up anymore. So I just want to do a quick recap of what I was talking about in the live, and we was talking about Esther, and God was revealing to me about Esther. Esther is a book of hope. It's a book that shows his spiritual power, his providence, and also how he uses unlikely people to do great things. And I promise you, I feel like I know we are in a time where he is using unlikely people to do great things. And just as he did with Esther. Esther was an orphan. Esther was pulled away from her family. Esther was a woman that was not afraid to step out on the things of God. You know, when she went up before the king, Esther risked her life before what she believed in. And I just want to encourage you, no matter what God has told you to do, what he has unctioned or placed in your heart, step out on faith. No matter how much opposition comes up against you, if God told you to do it, step out on faith. Step out in the power and the authority of God and watch God work on your behalf. Esther, when she did that, she changed an entire generation. She saved an entire generation by her going against the grain, stepping out on faith, going against the norm. She saved an entire generation. And just know that whatever we're supposed to do and we're doing in our lives, that it should affect an entire generation. You know, it says what a good man will leave an inheritance for his children's children. You know, that's a part of us being a part of Abraham, is being able to leave inheritance for our children's children. And Esther changed an entire generation by herself stepping out on faith. But just know, when you do, opposition is going to rise, it's going to come. And just know that your God is bigger, he's stronger, and he's always working behind the scenes. And that's another thing that I love about the book of Esther. You don't see God mentioned within this book, but you see his power, you see his hands of protection, you see him working behind the scenes. You know, just as he did for Esther, just as he did for Mordecai, you see him working behind the scenes. You know, Haman had plotted to kill the Jews, and Haman had plotted to kill Mordecai. But God was working behind the scenes. You can see within the story when the king sleep had got disturbed. I believe that was God working behind the scenes. It said he woke up and he started reading the scrolls of his reign throughout his time, and he started seeing the things that he had done and stuff that's going on. And he asked Haman, you know, what should I do for for a man like this? And he was talking about Mordecai, but Haman thought he was talking about him. So he said, give him gifts, give him honor, you know, all this other stuff or whatever. And not knowing that he was talking about Mordecai. And see, Haman had set up to hang Mordecai. But in the end, God flipped that thing, and Haman ended up being the one being hanged. So just know, you know, I know when you're called for such a time as this, when you step out on faith, things are going to come up. People are going to come up against you. People are going to attack your integrity, attack your character. But just know your God is always working behind the scenes, and it is always going to work out for your good. And I would just like to encourage you, you know, step out on faith, step out in the authority and the power that God has given you, and conquer everything that God has set out for you to conquer. You know, receive every blessing that he has set out for you, and see every promise come to pass that God has promised you. And I just want to encourage you to step out on faith and to know that you are called for such a time as this, and know that the God within you is bigger, he's stronger, and he's better. And before I get off of here, I just want to go ahead and give you a quick testimony. Back in July, I moved from one state to the next on the unction of God. I moved me and my two children to a state, into a city that we don't have any family. But God has placed people within my path. God has already had ways made. Just because I stepped out on faith and I was obedient, we haven't want for anything. We haven't had to live or leech off of anybody. God has provided, and He has made ways out of no ways. God has really shown Himself to be that Ephesians 3:20 God that He says He is. And when I'm talking about, I love God all the more, and I'm just in awe of everything that He has done for me and my family. And I am ready to see God move in greater. I'm just in awe. God He's not man. He shall not lie. And every promise that He has spoken, I believe that it's coming to pass. And I just want to tell you to trust God, to step out on faith, step out on those things He has told you to do, and watch God work behind the scenes. I promise you, He's going to blow your mind. And just know that, when you step out, yes, people are going to talk. Yes, people are going to have things to say. Yeah, there will be lies, there will be rumors, but just know your God will keep your character intact. He will keep your integrity. Just trust Him, step out on faith. Know He's bigger, He's stronger than whatever can come up against you. Step out in the authority of God. See those things, speak it, and then receive it. One word that I hold fast to that God had told me when I was getting ready to move, because people had started to talk, and even now they're still talking. But He told me, He said, they're talking now, but wait until they see. So, God always has our back. He said, they're talking now, but wait until they see. So just know, whatever God has told you to do it, because He is setting us up for our greater. And for the people, the naysayers, for the people of the world to see the goodness of God in 2020. And I'm determined that I'm going to see the goodness of God in the land of the living. And I want you to see it too. So y'all enjoy the rest of your night, and I pray that this was a blessing to you. Have a good night.